Coming up tonight on the news at 5, strong winds and dry conditions sparked several fires across the state. Plus, a Helena judge has ruled in a sports gambling lawsuit. What it means for businesses who don't have an alcoholic beverage license.
From Montana's news leader, this is MTN News at 5.
Good afternoon and welcome to the news at 5. I'm Jessica Nelson. Thank you for joining us. Firefighters are actively fighting a wildfire east of I-15 by Gates of the Mountains. The Campbell fire was roughly estimated at 20 acres this afternoon and is currently burning in a steep area with trees and dry grass, with wind playing a factor. Montana DNRC hotshots from the Helena National Forest, West Valley, East Valley, and Lewis and Clark County firefighters were all on scene. A DNRC helicopter was making regular bucket drops on the fire. Crews are optimistic they will be able to get a handle on the fire by tomorrow morning, and it's burning in an area that is not currently threatening any structures. The cause of the fire is undetermined at this time. Today's strong winds made battling a massive hay fire at a Teton County ranch extremely difficult. The fire on Broken O Ranch was reported around 5:30 this morning. The ranch is between Sims and Augusta. Firefighters estimate the amount of hay burned to be in the hundreds of tons. Now, they believe the fire started as ranch workers were chopping the hay. The fire jumped to a nearby ridge, but firefighters were able to contain it before it burned more land. As for the pile of hay, they say there's not much they can do.
Let it burn and contain it. We don't have enough water to put this out. You could drop it in the ocean and it would still burn.
After speaking to crews on the scene of the fire this morning, firefighters expected the fire to burn for at least 24 hours. All right, switching gears now to our forecast to learn more about how windy it was today.
Yeah, really windy. You know, November is kind of like a secondary wildfire season here in Montana because of the windstorms and also all that dried grass that we have out there. It's mainly grass fires this time of year. I know we had some of the fire getting up into the trees near the Gates of the Mountains, but high wind warning continues for another few hours, although the wind is beginning to subside, and the red flag warning for southwest Montana will also be dropped here in the next few hours. Well, it's on to the next. Winter storm watch here for most of the state coming up here this weekend. And this is going to be a big storm. It's all downhill from here. I love that saying because sometimes it means it's easier. Sometimes it means it gets a little worse. Well, I'm talking temperature. The numbers will start going down after record highs today. It's going to be a bad blizzard for some parts of the state. And yeah, dangerous driving with whiteout conditions. More on the full forecast in just a few minutes.
Montana reported 1,013 new COVID-19 cases. This is the second time the state has reported more than 1,000 new cases in one day. That pushes the statewide total to more than 37,000 cases. Almost 12,000 of those are active. 5 more deaths have been reported since this afternoon, meaning 443 Montanans have died from COVID-19 complications. Now, it's very important to keep in mind that our numbers do vary from those reported by state officials because we track data from the state as well as local health departments to give you the most up-to-date information available. Great Falls is adding a new program aimed at making first responders' lives a little easier. MTN's Coulter Anstadt explains.
Great Falls Emergency Services now has a designated community paramedic.
It makes people healthier, and if they're healthy, then they're not calling 911.
Peter Tyler's role as community paramedic is part of a one-year grant-funded suicide prevention program Alluvian Health is running in partnership with Great Falls Emergency Services. It started October 1st.
What we're trying to do is screen as many people as we can.
When GFES has to transport someone in an ambulance for whatever reason, the patient is asked a few simple questions to try to determine if they may be at risk of suicide, and if so, how much of a risk. Tyler can then connect them with mental health services if necessary.
For the month of October, we've done over 130 screens, and of those, about 30 of them actually were high enough that we needed to relook at them.
Fortunately, only a couple had not already been connected with services. Even so, GFES General Manager Justin Gross says the program is needed.
We do have substance abuse issues in this community. We have mental health issues.
But perhaps the biggest advantage of the program so far, Tyler says, is the ability to be designated to help people with issues other than mental health as well.
Crews, while they're in their home or while they're on scene, they might notice things or have the patient say something. It's like, I'm having trouble getting access, or, we're running on a diabetic frequently, and it's like, well, how come we're coming to see you so frequently? It's like, I don't have a testing meter. Like, well, I can get him a testing meter.
Simple solutions that could go a long way towards solving problems in the community that are anything but simple. In Great Falls, Colter Anstad, MTN News.
They're anticipating grant money being able to continue the program after the initial grant money runs out, but he says the ultimate goal is to eventually have health insurance payers like Medicare and Medicaid reimburse the costs. Well, a Helena judge has ruled the Montana Lottery cannot limit sports wagering licenses to only Montana businesses with an alcoholic beverage license. MTN's John Riley has more.
In a new ruling, Lewis and Clark District Judge Kathy Seeley said the Montana Lottery Commission acted out of turn when imposing additional limitations beyond what was expressed in the legislation that legalized sports betting. Seeley wrote, if the legislature intended to limit sports wagering facilities in this way, the legislature could have done so. The judge added the court would not insert an additional provision that the legislature omitted. This ruling stems from a lawsuit filed on behalf of Arete Group, a Billings investment group that sought a license but did not have an alcoholic beverage license. Attorney Lyndon Shevik, representing Arete Group, told MTN he was happy with the ruling and believes justice was done. In the original lawsuit, Arete Group also sought to be immediately granted a sports wagering license. However, Seeley said in her ruling they were not entitled to receive one. The group has already reapplied for a sports wagering license with the Montana Lottery. The amount of money bet in the state has doubled since the beginning of September. As of November 4th, $10 million has been legally bet in the state since Sportsbet Montana launched earlier this year. $8.9 million has been paid out to bettors, $1.3 million has gone to the gross gaming revenue, and around $556,000 has gone directly to businesses that offer sports betting. Montana Lottery told MTN the ruling was significant, and they're in the process of reviewing the decision while determining the next step. Reporting in Helena, John Riley, MTN News.
Helena Food Share is keeping its Thanksgiving tradition alive, but adapting their annual turkey challenge to the pandemic. MTN's Alexia Guayo has more.
The Helena Food Share is getting ready for their annual turkey challenge, a challenge to raise money to provide families with Thanksgiving dinners. But the challenge will not be in person this year.
This year, of course, with the pandemic and COVID, we're not doing physical food drives. We're not actually asking people to collect food for us or turkeys. So on November 20th, we're going to do our turkey challenge virtually. We're going to do it online.
Online at helenafoodshare.org, FoodShare is asking to buy a meal as opposed to collect food items due to the pandemic. The turkey challenge went live this week, and about 120 meals have already been purchased as of Thursday afternoon. The goal is to provide 2,500 meals.
There's going to be an increase in need because we've seen more new families coming in to Helena Food Share every week at a higher rate than previously. So we want to make sure that we have enough for everyone who might have that need.
Helena Food Share says they are giving out about 1,600 carts of food every month since the pandemic began. This is about a 41% increase compared to last year. Since March, FoodShare have given out about 200,000 meals. They served about 150,000 meals in the entire year of 2019.
Helena Food Share will begin distribution of those turkey meals the following 3 days after the Turkey Challenge, the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd of November. It is still not too late to sign up for a Thanksgiving dinner if you need one. In Helena, I'm Alexi Guayo, MTN News.
Helena Food Share is also getting ready for their Christmas dinner. They told MTN about 500 families have already signed up requesting a meal for the holiday. When we come back, Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenance has a full weather forecast for us, and later, would a recount of votes change the outcome? Our Joe St. George digs deeper to find out.
There starts now with Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenance.
All right, it's good Thursday afternoon, everybody. Boy, another very warm and in many locations, very windy day. 63 degrees in Great Falls. Not quite record highs, but we did get in the ballpark in the low 70s. Record high of 76. And in Helena, nice color with the sun going down right now. Temperature still near 70 degrees. And yep, record high in Helena today, 75 degrees here. That old record was 68 or 69, so we blew that old record out of the water. A little cooler though. Cup Bank up through Kalispell, some cooler air is already starting to work its way into northwest Montana. The rest of the state still very warm. Just about everybody still in the 60s, and the wind is beginning to come down, except for around Livingston, some really nasty wind right there. But there you can see some of the rain showers up in northwest Montana. Snow way on up there, 9,000 feet up there into just the peaks of Glacier National Park. That's our next storm here. Let's take a closer look at this, and we will have some lowering snow levels up here northwest Montana. So if anybody tomorrow, Friday, planning on traveling the High Line, West Interstate 15 around Shelby and Cup Bank and through Browning and East Glacier, there will be some snow. Not terrible snow, but snow falling around the East Glacier area throughout the day. But notice it just stays right up there. It may go as far east as about the Sweetgrass Hills, but really, this is not the big storm here just yet. Most of the state, mostly cloudy here for Friday. Into Saturday morning, there's some of that snow way northwestern Montana. Here we go into the afternoon and the evening. Still nada, not much going on until we see dark happen here after sunset. That's when that storm will begin to blossom. Look at that snow through the overnight hours. Helena, Great Falls, Cup Bank, Havern, Lewistown, several inches likely accumulating into Sunday morning. And then the snow continues and it expands throughout most of the state by Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening. And it's then Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening that northeast Montana, the central part of the state, even out the High Line here through about to the Cup Bank area down through Great Falls, that's where the wind will be the worst. Blizzard conditions likely the farther east you go in the state. Even around Helena, we'll have some pretty good wind coming through on Sunday, making travel very difficult. If you do not have to on Sunday, it might be one of those days where you just kind of play it close to home here. Snowfall through tomorrow afternoon, yeah, maybe a couple inches up there around East Glacier, but here we are on Saturday morning. Not much going on just yet, but Saturday night into Sunday morning, heavy accumulation. It's going to be a light, fluffy snow with temperatures dropping through the teens and the 20s, and that snow will blow around. So for cities and the areas around the cities here, Helena 8 to 14, Great Falls up to 18. Tough to measure though because it'll be blowing and drifting all over. Same goes around Lewistown. We could push more than a foot. Cup Bank and the Rocky Mountain Front, some locations there could see 2 feet of snow. Glasgow and Havre also a lot of snow and a lot of wind. Please be careful Sunday afternoon. Havre and Glasgow, it's going to be really nasty. Tonight, maybe a couple raindrops or flakes up there around Browning and Babb, but elsewhere, pretty quiet here. Lows a little cooler than the last few nights, mainly into the 30s and the 40s, and it's dry tonight. Tomorrow, that's when things will start to get a little wintry up here around the East Glacier area, but besides that, we're mostly cloudy and not as warm. The other thing is it's not as windy tomorrow here like we saw today, so the fire danger won't be quite as high. It's dry again. It's dry until we get into Saturday evening, Saturday night around Helena. That's when some of that rain-snow mix will develop and then go quickly over to snow with temperatures really dropping here. Highs only in the teens and 20s on Sunday, some snow continuing into Monday. A few snow showers around Tuesday and Wednesday, lighter accumulation. And for Great Falls, 52 tomorrow, mostly cloudy. Carefully if you're heading up around the East Glacier area. Late Saturday afternoon and evening, that's when that precipitation will start, and it's pretty much a full-blown blizzard for a lot of north central and northeast Montana for Sunday night into Monday.
If you look at the results in several states, one thing is clear. Whatever the final number is, it's going to be very close. So would a recount actually make a difference? Here's our Joe St. George with a look at what the past tells us about what might be the future.
In some states, recounts are automatically triggered. In other states, candidates have to ask for them. But one thing is clear, recounts rarely change outcomes. Since 1980, there have been 5,778 statewide elections. There have only been 31 completed statewide recounts. Only 3 of those races have actually changed after a recount. That's according to fairvote.org. Perhaps the most famous recount of all was in Florida in 2000, but the 2000 Florida recount, the final margin only shifted by 1,247 votes, or around 0.02%. In a recount in 2016 in Wisconsin for the presidential race, the final vote there changed by just 571 votes, or 0.02%. We asked political scientist Dr. Eric Clawville at Norfolk State University about whether recounts really matter.
I believe that recounts in themselves are not in favor of those that have lost a race. Unless it's a very, very, very close margin, we're talking maybe less than 100 ballots. But usually, even with that margin of error, is a very small opportunity for the loser to actually win.
So if a race is close, in the end, expect a recount. After all, it's what the losing candidate wants. But unless the margin is a couple hundred votes or less, don't expect anything to change. In Washington, I'm Joe St. George.
Social media giants Facebook and Twitter continue to keep tabs on election misinformation. Twitter continues to label misleading tweets. Twitter is limiting how information can be shared by removing replies and likes and allowing users to only share their own comments rather than retweet. Facebook did not restrict how posts can be shared or viewed, but did make an effort to label misinformation. Facebook placed labels on the top of certain feeds reminding users, quote, final vote counts may be different from initial vote counts, end quote. Coming up next, this high school standout had a monster game over the weekend. We catch up with the Fort Benton quarterback after the break.
Montana's news leader. You're watching MTN News at 5.
Welcome back with us. The undefeated Fort Benton football team has outscored opponents this year by an average of 45 points. But as the Longhorns move deeper into the playoffs, they expect to face tougher challenges. Tom Wiley introduces us to one reason why the Longhorns won't blink.
Before the fourth quarter of every game, the Fort Benton Longhorns have a ritual.
Yeah, fourth quarter, we play a little House of Pain, jump around. It's fun, man. Get excited. They love playing football. Last 3 weeks have been hard because they haven't been able to play any football.
And during Saturday's win over St. Ignatius, senior quarterback Billy Yuldery made sure to find our cameras.
Fort Benton Longhorns, baby!
He was hyped, and rightfully so. In the win, Yuldery threw 3 touchdowns, ran for 1 more, returned a kick for a score, and hauled in 3 interceptions, all in a day's work for one of Class C's top athletes.
Coach was telling us just to be thankful and to seize the moment, and that's really what I've kind of built myself off of, is seizing the moment, taking it one play at a time, staying focused and not taking a play off. So
seems like there's almost nothing he can't do. Yuldery is also a star on the basketball court and the track.
He's a heck of an athlete, man. He can run, throw. He threw the ball really well today. He made some good decisions on the option. He did a fine job for us.
The Longhorns will go as far as Yuldery and the rest of his fellow seniors can take them. It's a group that's been building toward this season their entire lives.
We've been playing football with each other since 3rd and 4th grade flag football. Just want to give all the glory to God for everything that I'm able to do, and I have a great team around me, and we're going to go far this year. So,
Tom Wiley, MTN Sports.
All right. Well, up next, just as Starbucks announces their new holiday cups, they're also making another big announcement.
Montana's news leader. You're watching MTN News at 5.
Starbucks continues to adjust to its new business model created by the pandemic. The company will close 100 stores in the U.S. within the next year due to changing customer habits. Starbucks says with more people working from home, it plans to set up more stores in suburban areas. That's all for us this evening at 5 o'clock. Have a great rest of your night.